Hi, I am Sun-Joo, Harvard Yenching Professor of Korean History. Harvard University libraries and museums have a number of Korean treasures. In this 5-part presentation, I am going to introduce a small collection of documents concerning a Kigae-yu family during the Joseon Dynasty, preserved at the Harvard Yenching Library. As shown in this table, the 8 documents are mutual agreement on the division of property, 2 examples of adoption papers, memorandum related to the 1721 adoption paper, 3 certified copies of the household register, and finally, examination answer sheet. In this part of the presentation, I will provide an overview of the collection. In the next 4 presentations, I will introduce each type of documents. Yangban families, as well as local institutions, such as private academies, gathered and preserved these documents over many centuries during the Joseon Dynasty. Collectively called 공문서 by contemporary scholars, they include a variety of documents, such as inheritance documents, sales certificates, household registers, petitions, letters, and appointment certificates. They also had different shapes. They could be a single sheet of paper, several papers pasted side by side, a scroll, or a compiled book. They are treasure troves for the study of Joseon society and culture because they reveal vivid quotidian details that official histories such as the veritable records of the Joseon Dynasty and various types of writings by scholars and officials did not usually record. The information preserved in these documents enables the study of family structure, marriage, gender relations, demographic changes, property division and ownership, land and slave sales, slavery, and litigation of various kinds. Family documents preserved by many generations of a Yangban family are highly valuable because we often have information concerning the dates when they were produced and the identities of the people and places mentioned in the documents. The 8 documents preserved in the Harvard Yenching Library concern a Kigae-yu family that resided in Puyo, Chungcheong Province, and inform us about a number of interesting aspects of this family from the 17th to 19th centuries. I call this family the Tae-ch'ing family, and this group of documents the Tae-ch'ing family documents, because Tae-ch'ing is the earliest direct ancestor of many people who appear in the documents. The Kigae-yu lineage, those descended from Yu Yarim in particular, became quite prominent in the late Joseon period and were recognized as one of the capital-based aristocratic families, Beolyol in Korean. Members of the Beolyol families obviously resided in Seoul. Each generation of the Beolyol families produced ministerial rank officials of senior 3rd rank or above. They utilized such institutions as the civil service examinations royal marriage, and merit subject recognition to attain and maintain their prestigious status. As the highest status group within the Yangban elite, they enjoyed all the social and political privileges. According to Cha Jang-seop, a South Korean scholar, there were 57 Palyal families from 50 branches of 40 lineages in the late Joseon. The line of Yuyarim was one of the Palyal. The members of the Kikeiyu identified themselves as supporters of the Westerners from the early 17th century on, followed by the Patriarch faction in the 18th century. By continuously producing higher civil service examination graduates and forming multiple marriage ties with powerful Palyal families, the Kikeiyu secured its prominent stature throughout the late Joseon period. The Yudae-ch'ing family of Puyo descended from Yuyarim, Jin, and Ham, however, moved to Hamyangni in Puyo County in the late 16th century and ended up being isolated from central political power while remaining as localized Yangban family. There are a number of reasons why Yudae-ch'ing relocated to Hamyang, Puyo, Hamyangni in Puyo, and they were related to marriage. His early Joseon ancestors had established strong geographical ties with Chungcheong province by marrying a woman from Hongseong and Biyin, all in Chungcheong province. More directly, Yudae-ch'ing's grandfather, Yu Jin's wife, was a daughter of Wu Yun-gun of the Danyang-Wu lineage. The graves of Wu Yun-gun and his wife are located in Hamyangni, Puyo, where Yudae-ch'ing and many of his descendants' graves are also still found. Yudae-ch'ing's ties with Puyo and with Hamyangni in particular were also related to his own wife. He married a daughter of the Sun-Joo Han family quite early when he was 12 years old. Madame Han was a granddaughter of Princess Eui and Han Gyeong-nok. Interestingly, Princess Eui's placenta had been buried in a small hill presently called the Placenta Peak, Taebong, in Hamyangni. It is no coincidence that Yudae-ch'ing's descendants took Hamyangni and nearby area as their permanent home because Yudae-ch'ing's own grave, his maternal grandmother Madame Wu's grave, and his wife's grandmother Princess Eui's placenta burial were all there. Up to the late 17th century, it was popular for a Joseon elite man to move into wife's home and build their family there. It was also a popular practice for sons and daughters to receive an equal share of parents' assets. These two practices led elite men of Joseon to relocate to wife's place of origin, and probably that was the reasons why Yudae-ch'ing moved to Puyo, which then became permanent home for his descendants. There was also a political reason why Yudae-ch'ing discarded his residence in Seoul. Reportedly, he was dismayed by immoral rule by King Gwanghae, who was eventually deposed, and desired to retire from offices and live in the countryside. Though he ultimately stayed in Puyo and also was buried there, Yudae-ch'ing's children all married members of eminent families that produced higher civil service examination degree holders and high-ranking officials for generations. However, none of his direct descendants passed the higher civil service examination or participated in the court politics in any significant way. The Yenching family gradually turned to so-called localized Sa족 elite family, although they continued to devote their lives to studying for the civil service examinations and earned fame for their literary talents. Not only they maintained their ties with Seoul relatives, they also continued to cultivate their cultural ties with like-minded literati in the countryside and well-known scholars and officials in Seoul. They also seem to have enjoyed some wealth to support their scholarly and cultural activities. For example, Yu Myung-zi, the household head in the 1711 certified copy of the household register and the recipient of the adoption certificate in 1721, which are discussed in next segments, circulated letters to his relatives in Seoul and in the countryside to urge donations to erect a stele with an inscription for the tombs of their early Joseon ancestors and also procure ritual lands dedicated to them. He built a villa and a study hall right by the Baekma River, currently Kum River, where he enjoyed tending a garden of plum blossoms, bamboo, and other flowers, and also entertaining his guests. Other members of the Yenching family also had their own villas and gardens near the Baekma River, which would have become a place where like-minded literati got together for cultural activities. They also frequented the Subuk Pavilion and Daeje Pavilion along the Baekma River, near the residence of the Yenching family, which were hubs for social and cultural exchange and networking for those scholars and officials in the camp of the Westerners and patriots. These pavilions have remained to be scenic places in Puyo well into the modern period, as these photos from the early 20th century and these recent photos show. In conclusion, the descendants of Yenching formed one of the prominent families in Puyo County in late Joseon. By investing in education and other scholarly activities, forming proper rituals, making necessary economic arrangements, and maintaining close ties with their kin group and other elites in Seoul as well as in their locality, the family successfully maintained its elite status throughout the late Joseon period and showed amazing continuity. Together with other written documents that help unveil the life of the members of this family, the 8 documents that I will discuss in the next segments provide a unique window through which we learn many dimensions of the family, such as its localization, ritual practices and family succession, its financial condition, its relations with the larger lineage, its cultural and social network, and its standing in local society.